Hello my lovelies, my angels, my besties, how are you doing? Welcome back to another video. I'm just going to go through my worst and best of 2025 per month. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, feelings and opinions. I am going to try and be as spoiler free as possible, but I will kind of give like little hints as to why I feel in a particular way. So like if for example there's like a love triangle and I don't really like it, I am going to tell you there's a love triangle, but I'm not going to say this character did this and that character, do you know what I mean? Otherwise there's not really much to say about a book. I was thinking about this the other day. If I film this video, what can I actually say? Because I try my absolute hardest to keep spoilers out of my content. Sometimes I might slip in, oh, the other day I got told off because my Fairy Loot video went straight in to the unboxing and I didn't give anyone any chance to scroll away, and I was like, do you know what? I didn't think about it at the time, but now looking back I'm like, yeah, I know I did that. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I try my hardest to be spoiler free. Anyway, so here we go. Grab yourself a nice hot drink. I've got everything in this little notebook. Casper, my bunny, decided to absolutely have a snack at it, but it's still a usable notebook, so we move. Grab yourself a nice hot drink, get comfy, get cozy, all of that jazz, and let's talk about my best and worst books per month of 2025. January was the month of Onyx Storm. So I'm going to go straight in and confirm that Onyx Storm was my favourite read of, I'm just going to say 2025. It wasn't, but it was my favourite in January. It started off the year really, really well. I remember having a bit of a mixed January. I'm going to try my absolute hardest to remember as much as I possibly can. When Onyx Storm came out, obviously we all kind of read it as a community, and my besties read it. Everyone just wanted to get on it straight away, and I loved that. And I tried to read it quite quickly because I didn't want to see any spoilers, which is annoying, by the way. Can we just relax with spoiling books that have just come out? Like, I get some of the books have been out for years and years and years, so creating those like AI stories or whatever, fine. But when a book has just come out, like, can we relax with that, please? Like, I don't want to feel like I need to read a book straight away just so I don't spoil it for myself. But I was excited to read it because obviously the second book was left on a massive cliffhanger, so I was like, right, that's it, I need to read it straight away. And yeah, it was really, really good. If you've seen my like ranking video, I did speak about Onyx Storm, and I didn't really know where to put it because I really loved it, and I love the characters, like Zayden, obviously, bestie. I found it really confusing because I completely forgot some of the characters. You get to explore so many new areas, locations, and meet so many new characters on top of that. So if you haven't read Onyx Storm yet, one, what are you doing? But also I would definitely reread the previous books, because I even read like little summaries and overviews and that still didn't really help me. That's the only reason why it's not like in my top tier, but it was still an absolutely incredible book. The worst one though was Conclave. It's a little mini novella from the Devil's Night series. Honestly, the reason why it was the worst is because it was like a really short, I want to say like pointless novella. I don't even remember what happens in it, so clearly it was the worst, and it was just rated the worst. I feel like novellas are always going to be a little bit lower. Nothing like overly negative to say about it, it's just like meh, you know. Then we move on to February. So February, my favorite read was Quicksilver. I absolutely loved Quicksilver. I don't understand some of the hate towards it. I feel like, yeah, there are some parts that are a little bit slow, but like a lot of fantasy books can be a little bit slow. I loved the concept, really, really good concept. I actually can't say much I'm trying to think of what I can say without actually spoiling it. There's this pool of Quicksilver, basically. That's kind of the main, that's why it's called Quicksilver. And it's a lot to do with, not elemental magic, what's it called? Like materials, like metals. There's a word for it, which I cannot think of. It's not like my favourite romance in the world, but it is just a fun romance. There's quite a little bit of banter. Some of the like little twists. I mean, there was one twist that definitely got me. I can't really tell you much about Quicksilver, I realised. The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. It's part of the Off-Campus series. That was my worst read of February. I just really didn't see the point of it. So I can't lie, like the Legacy for me was just completely pointless. And I felt like it ruined some of the Briar Yu character storylines for me. I didn't realise. So if you haven't read Briar Yu and you're planning to read Briar Yu, maybe just don't read The Legacy. I just thought it was a waste of time. I thought it was super boring. There was just nothing really happening. March. I think March is probably one of my favorite months in 2025 because I finished the Zodiac Academy. So Restless Stars was one of my favorite reads. I thought it was the perfect ending. I don't care, okay? This series is the longest series you're probably going to read in terms of like what happens is just so messy, and you think things are getting solved and then you still have 2 fat books of 1,000 pages each coming, and you're like, what can possibly happen? Like, what is going on? This last book, Restless Stars, for me was perfection. It rounded off every single story there is, apart from one, which I have a feeling the Twisted Sisters are going to write books about this person, because you don't get enough of this person. I cannot give you even the slightest hint of who I'm talking about. That is a very, very big plot line at one point. And then Daisy Hates the Great Undoing is also my favourite. I can't pick between the two, I'm sorry. That is the last book so far of the Magnolia Parks universe, and we are waiting, but Jessa Hastings just loved to mess with us, and she's not telling us when she's writing the next book. She even said herself, I think, that the next book is going to be really hard to write because it's going to be really emotional. I don't know if I'm ready for the trauma. Like, the ending of this book has me in a chokehold. The worst read of March is The Housemaid is Watching. It's the 3rd book of the Housemaid series, and it is awful. The FMC was so whiny, so negative, like very different to the first 2 books. I loved the first book. I thought it was really good. I still need to watch the film, actually. I haven't watched the film yet, which is kind of annoying. I'm really bright and I don't know why. And there's this massive miscommunication trope, which miscommunication tropes to me, I love if they're done right. That was not done right. I don't really understand the point of that book, to be honest. Then we'll move on to April. April was tough because I read the Edge of Darkness trilogy, and my favourite of that month was Voracious, which is the 2nd book. When I think about it, I struggle. Okay, that whole trilogy is God tier. It is incredible, but especially that book. That book deserves an Oscar, okay, or whatever it is in the book world. I absolutely adore it. It is really, really heavy. So if you're not into dark romance at all, that's not going to be for you in the best way. Like, the author's done such a good job in representing the things that are actually happening in day-to-day life, whilst also creating that proper emotional connection between the FMC and the MMC. I don't even know where to start with it. You follow 2 characters. It's dual POV and dual timeline from what I remember. They go through a lot of trauma. Read it if you are into dark romance, if you haven't already, because it's sensational. Worst Read is Flawless by Elsie Silver. If you follow me on any other social media, you'll know that I despised that book, okay? I was really excited to read the Chestnut Spring series, and people did say like the first book isn't really the best one, like, you know, just get through it, whatever. But I did not expect it to be that bad. I love the rest of Chestnut Springs, by the way, and I think that all the characters are really cute and fun, and I love that little world. But that first book gave me the biggest ick I ever have had from a book before. I'm just going to say this for the last time, okay? Beard burn, what is that about, okay? The male character was really excited to give her beard burn. I don't understand that. I'm sorry, I don't get it. And also just in general, it was just a bit cringy. It's like this like cowboy romance, which I don't mind, but I don't think it's my favourite. It was cringe. May. I put 2 books down for the best. One of them is a fan fiction book, and that is Manacled. I say this every single time I speak about Manacled, but I don't really know the kind of rules of the etiquette around fan fiction, because I know there's like certain things about fan fiction you can say and you can't say, but I just want to say, like, it is incredible. Like, it really changed the game for me. From that book, I struggled to find another 5-star book for months, okay, months. The whole story is incredible. It's really well thought out, in my opinion, and you just get so angry and frustrated. It is really good, and it's definitely in my God tier, and I will 100% say support the author with Alchemized, which I do have on my shelf here. And then Serpent and the Wings of Night is also my favourite one from that month. Very different vibes. You've got trials, you've got vampires, quite dark, gloomy, but also quite fun. Loved it. Such a good read. I'm not going to talk a lot about this series because you know that I do not like the rest of that series. I mean, the second book is still fun, and then the novellas are fun, but that's it. The worst book though, Death Row. Listen, okay, Frida McFadden, I think, deserves a medal for how many books she releases per year, considering she's like a brain surgeon or something. Like, that to me, crazy. I don't even have time to wee sometimes, and I don't know why, because I literally work on I'm unemployed actually, so I have no excuses. I'm not surprised when some books aren't like perfect, okay, because she's dishing out like this. But the ending really, really, really got me, and I hated it. Basically an ending that you would write at school. You know that kind of vibe where you're like, and they woke up from a dream. It was like that. I don't really remember much from June, I can't lie, but the best book I read was Of the Stars and Sea by Brianna Remus. I really think this book is so underrated, and if you are looking for like a really fun pirate romance, I definitely recommend. I had such a good time, and do you know what? The whole concept I still remember, which says something. The fact that I actually remember a story, bearing in mind my memory is like, it goes, says a lot, okay? You have the FMC, who is a pirate of a ship. She's like the head pirate, whatever you call it. And she is in debt with some other guy in the town. So she has to do like certain missions, I guess, or tasks for him to get rid of this debt. And one of the missions that he asked her to go on was to steal something that I think is like being transported or opened or something like that. And she's like, hang on a minute, this is worth more than the debt that I have with this guy. What if I get it for myself? Things happen. She ends up meeting some other evil pirate that is super, super famous and strong and broody, and there we are. My worst one, Cruel King by Rena Kent. I spoke a lot about this series in my my tier video. I wanted to dive into the Rena Kent universe, and I just didn't really like it. Like, they were fun at the time, but like also awful. I think I rated it 2 stars in the end. July. Shield of Sparrows is my favourite. I know that there is some very mixed opinions on Shield of Sparrows. I appreciate it. I get it. I kind of get where people are coming from. But at the same time, can we all just relax? Yes, it's a little bit of a big book, and it is a little bit slow at times, just like a lot of fantasy books are that have been rated God tier, just saying. The romance, I will say, like, I kind of thought it was just a good time. I did get a little bit emotional towards the end. I don't think the romance is meant to be like this really deep, you know, centuries of love and their mates. Not every single fantasy book needs to be like that. I thought it was a great time. I really liked the concept. The female character, she has a sister who is basically the sparrow, or trained to be the sparrow, who planned to go off and marry a prince from a different region. Prince comes over and he's like, I don't want her, I want her, which is obviously the female character. You all know that's going to happen at the beginning. Everyone's like, whoa, 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 what do you mean she's not the sparrow? Anyway, she becomes a sparrow. She ends up going off and traveling with the prince to the other region. When I started reading Shield of Sparrows, I just said to myself, I'm going to allow myself to just sit and enjoy and dive in and let my brain have its time in the book. Do you know what I mean? And I enjoyed it. So there we are. And the worst one from July is Vicious Sprints. This is still part of the Rena Kent's first sort of series. I just don't have much to say about it. I just thought it was really cringe. Like, the whole series is quite cringe. They're meant to be British, but they act very American, and that just completely puts me off. And also, they act so powerful when they're still at school, and that just gives me the ick. Like, this kind of like mafia-esque vibe doesn't work when it's at school, in my opinion. August was also probably one of my worst months, which is annoying because that's my birthday month. We've got Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, which I did really enjoy. So that's one of the novellas from the Axia series. I thought it was really fun. The concept is quite funny actually, because it reminds me, now thinking about it, of The Night and the Moth. It's a lot of fun. She's basically out there trying to slay the vampire conqueror. Fun story, fun romance, and it feeds into the main plot line, which I'm not going to continue reading, but I did like it. The worst book is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I'm very disappointed from this book. I'm really disappointed by this book. I had really high expectations because everyone online was saying how this book is going to change your life. It is amazing. It's incredible. The romance and everything else is just so freaking good. It was so boring, okay? Wanted to put it down a long time before I actually did. I should have just DNF'd it, but at the same time I was thinking, oh, let me power through. I feel like it started off quite cute. Like, sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. Nothing happened. I was expecting loads of life-changing quotes and all of that, but it just wasn't like that. It's my one and only Abby Jimenez book. Will I read more? Maybe, but I'm also like not running to them. Bearing in mind, None of these are 5-star, okay? Manacled was in May. June, no 5-star. July, no 5-star. Shield of Spirals was very close. It was like 4.75. August, Slay the Vampire Conqueror, 4 stars. Then we've got September. Still no 5 stars, okay? Diabound was my favourite read. I rated that 4.75 as well. It was nearly a 5-star. I think the reason why I didn't give it a 5-star is, one, the nickname really gave me the ick, but also it was that little bit too predictable. I loved it though. I loved it and I cannot wait for the next book. It's so fun. It just feels like you're going home when you're reading this book. The female character sister goes missing and she's like, right, the best thing for me to do is to try and join the army, not realizing that actually she ends up trying to bond with a wolf. So the similarities are there, like with certain stories and certain books, but still really enjoyed it, and the romance ends up hitting. I mean, I say there's not much of it later on, but like, it's still, whatever happens hits. And I love that. I love that. I love that. Then we've got Fearful by Lauren Roberts. I have no words. The funny thing is, I said this novella is not going to be about what people think it's going to be about. It was really random. And you also had another plot line of following 2 people that I just couldn't give a flying F about them. So, don't like it. October. October is where we finally got our first 5-star, actually 6-star. And that is Project Hail Mary. I listened to it as an audiobook. I recommend this to every single person. It is sci-fi, but it is incredible. The narrator does a magnificent job. I loved every minute of it. It is a little bit confusing at times, don't get me wrong, but like, I was there for the vibes and I absolutely loved it. So the guy wakes up in a spaceship in the middle of space. He hasn't got any idea on why. Throughout the book, you find out how he ended up there. So there's dual timelines going back in time leading up to him going on the ship. And then whilst he's on the ship, what he discovers. It's such a bittersweet story. It is very emotional, but also a lot of fun. I will never stop recommending it to every single person. It's so good. And Nightshade was also my favourite read. I wanted to include like a physical book that I read, and also Nightshade just deserves a shout out because it's a 5-star read for me for that genre. Like that, I freaking loved it. It just really hit the spot at the time. I wanted something that had a really fun romance, but still had like a bit more backstory, a bit more mystery to it, and that literally hit the spot. Like, it was perfection for what I wanted at the time. Meant to be like a little bit gothic. I wouldn't say it's like that gothic, to be honest, but like it has a little bit of a gothic vibe to it. So the FMC ends up joining this like college, uni sort of esque situation because her parents were unalived in that same school. So she wanted to join and basically find out exactly what happened, because the story that she's been told and the public has been told, she believes is a lie. So she went there for that, but obviously she meets friends and she meets a boy, and yeah, there's a lot of connections, a lot of power play, and yeah, it is good. It is fun. The worst of October is Her Soul to Take. I was so disappointed in that because a lot of my favourite creators rated this book quite highly. I don't get it. It is hella spicy, don't get me wrong, and I knew that I was prepared to read a lot of spice. I didn't like how it was executed. There was like spice quite early on, but I thought it was going to be a bit of a teaser. So I thought it was going to be like, whoo, there's a bit of spice, and then no spice for a while, build up, you know, tension, all that kind of stuff. It was just all the time. It kind of got in the way of the story because I was really enjoying the main plot of the story. Like, it had demons and grimoires, and it was again quite different to what I have been reading. It gave me the kind of old school series vibes that I used to watch without obviously the spice. But the spice just got in the way and it just kind of done my head in, and it got to the point where I was like, I'm not interested anymore in this, so I'm not going to be continuing with that series. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just not that interested. November, no 5-star read. I have 3 4-stars. Kiss the Sky, Mate, and Brimstone. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Brimstone's gonna be in that list. It was a fun read, but I was so confused for a lot of it, and the ending that a lot of people were shocked about, I was like, isn't it obvious? Like, I don't know, I just thought that was like a given. You kind of knew where it was going, so I was a bit like, oh. Mate was just a lot of fun. Like, again, not a 5-star or anything. It was just fun. It was fun vibes. Kiss the Sky is probably gonna be the best one then, really. It's part of the Calloway Sisters series, and I also rated that 4-star, but now it's not my favourite out of the series, but it is very close. I really loved it. It follows a completely different couple to what the first 3 books follow. So the first 3 books are part of technically the Addicted series, but now also the Calloway Sisters series. Kiss the Sky covers the FMC sister and the boy that she's interested in, and they have very, very different personalities. They're very smart, they're always in competition. She's very like, no, I'm the best, he's the best, whatever. I just love the dynamic because he's quite like an experienced guy in the bedroom, whereas she has never done anything. But it's not made in like a really cringy way. Like sometimes books make it really annoying when the female is inexperienced, because it just makes it feel a little bit cringe and a little bit weird. But with this one, it wasn't like that at all. I really, really loved it. And he's just very not what you expect him to be in the bedroom. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun, and I really love their back and forth and how they flirt, but then they argue. Their story as like a friendship group really grows and they become like this little family, and I love that, and it just gets so much better from this book onwards. The worst read was Echoes, which is just a fun audiobook. It's the second book. The only reason why it was the worst is just because it was the worst of the month, but it was fun. Like I think I rated it like 3 stars maybe, or 3.5. The reason why I love this audiobook so much is because it's multiple different narrators. It's a lot of fun to listen to, and the narrators are really freaking good. So I would recommend for like a fun audiobook listen, but it is spicy, so maybe don't listen to it in public, but you know, it is fun. December, I have a lot to say about, okay? So but we're nearly there, guys. Stick with me, we're nearly there. My favourite, obviously, is going to go to the Hunger Games. Like, that is so freaking good. I rated it 5 star because who wouldn't rate it 5 star? Do you know what I mean? The audiobook is actually really good. I don't think the narrator's like really monotone or anything like that. I think she gives very Katniss vibes. I really liked it. But I also really loved If It Makes You Happy. I thought it was one of the cutest contemporary romances I've ever read, but also the funnest and like the least boring. Like sometimes I lose a bit of interest in contemporary romances, but with this one, like I just never wanted it to end. Perfect for Halloween time or like autumn time. I read this, well, in December. I was a little bit late to the game, but I still really enjoyed it. Apparently it gives Gilmore Girls vibes. It's set in the 90s. My favourite part about this actually is it's set around a year after, I think, the first Scream movie came out. Scream is one of my all-time favourite films ever. I basically grew up watching it, and so seeing that be around that time where they mentioned like, oh, there's this mask we want to put on Halloween, and yeah, I don't know, it was very nostalgic. The worst reads, I don't dislike any of them, but Good Spirits I'd say is probably the worst read of the month. It was fun, but like I wasn't obsessed with it as other people were. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand why people would love it. I also understand why people would hate it. I thought it was kind of a bang on in the middle. I had a really fun time. I loved the story of going back in time into the memories. The romance didn't hit, and I thought it was really cringe. However, a lot of Christmas books are really cringe. That's why I don't really read a lot of Christmas books. I just prefer to stick with the films for that, to be honest. Fairy Tale. I don't know where to put it, but I kind of want to talk about it because it's one of the best but worst books I read in 2025, and it's really hard for me to know kind of where to rate it or where to put it. I struggled in my tier video as well because the concept is incredible. The main plot, incredible. It is so well thought out. The yearning, the love, like I've never ever read a book that shows that much love and connection between two people, but it is so slow, unnecessarily slow. Like, it doesn't have to be that slow. There are certain moments where I was losing interest in a lot of moments, and then it got really good, and then suddenly it got really slow again, and it felt very repetitive. Like the FMC would repeat basically what she feels and then what happened. So something would happen, then she would talk about how she felt about what happened, even though she was already talking about how she felt about it during the action, and then she would talk about it again and explain what happened and how she felt about it. And I was like, I get it. I also understand why people would love this book because like I said, the concept and everything, absolutely beautiful, perfect. It's a really annoying book because I really wish I loved it as much as other people do. It is a book that will definitely stick with me, so that is also a good sign. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about it because it is such a popular book online, and I just think that it was like one of my best and worst books ever. So that is it. Those are my best and worst books of 2025. This is going to be the last video, I think, that I'm going to be doing about 2025. So I'm going to really need to get my creative gear on and think about what else I'm going to post, because I don't actually know what to post on YouTube. I'm finding it really hard to know what to film. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll speak to you later.